Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's July 11th. It's Wednesday. It's about 9:45 p.m. I got home about 4:30, 5 o'clock p.m. tonight. Um, Once again, we baled some, I called it 24-hour hay. That's incorrect. We're going to call it 30-hour hay. Once again, we baled up some 30-hour hay today. There was some hay that was, it was pretty thin. Long story short, they're small little satellite fields, I'll call them, that we didn't bother putting fertilizer on. So there was a combination of a couple small satellite fields that got dropped yesterday morning. It was raked right after dinner time today and started baling around, I don't know, 4 o'clock. Not a whole lot of hay out there, but something's better than nothing. We ended up getting three half wagons. So let's just say, let's say 200 squares of the most prime, freshest hay you can get. Like I said, it's 30-hour hay, so it's good. We'll take it. It looks like we have a couple days of what I'm going to call downtime because of rain. We have rain in the forecast. It's scattered all day tomorrow, here and there. There's rain in the forecast for Friday. I just don't know what the outlook is. And then the weather pattern just changed. They're calling for rain on Saturday. Be honest with you, we need it. We need it real bad. Kicking stones just a little bit. I think a little bit. A decision was, I don't know, a decision was made to drop some hay. Well, yeah, yesterday. As well. There was a lot of hay dropped yesterday. And anyway, it's kind of thin, but it's just shy of, I'm going to say it's shy of about 18, 19 acres, which is quite a bit of ground. That's quite a bit of hay down. It's going to be an awful shame if it does get rained on, and it's proposed to be, but whatever. Long story short, I'm counting on a bust of a day tomorrow. Because of rain, I got a whole bunch of odds and ends and personal things to take care of, and I already loaded up and filled up the tractor and the spears and the flat wagon. I have to go chase down those round bales that I baled on the 4th of July. I think it was 41 bales. They have not been stacked yet. So I'm probably going to take off early in the morning right after a little bit of grain feeding and go stack some bales. It's the only bales we have lingering out there. Otherwise, everything's picked up, put on rows, and some of it brought to the bale yard. So we'll see what happens. All right, enough of that crap. Folks, I'm standing out here in the garden. We're going to title this video, Lessons Learned Thus Far. Plant a garden, they said. Be the cool kid on the block. It'll be great. Fresh vegetables. Holy mackerel. I got some pretty heavy damage here. Heavy damage with deer. Obviously some other animals. And there's some lessons learned thus far that I'm going to go through. Let me explain this garden to you. I did this. This was a split decision. It's not that I wasn't thinking about doing something like this. It just, I really wasn't thinking about doing it this year. And I don't know, what was it, about 2 weeks before Memorial Day? It was a split decision. I don't know if I had a dream that night or woke up that morning and said, hey, I'm going to put a garden in. Screw it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to go after a lessons learned year. And you've heard me talk about that, getting into something that I haven't been into before and learning some lessons first before going at it full Monty, Otherwise it just means you shoot from the hip, and yeah, it doesn't work out very good. So a split decision was made, and I put the garden in, and I'm learning all sorts of lessons. So I'm conquering my goals and learning lessons. Well, let's go to the corn first. Corn took a beating. tell right there. That's gnawed down to almost nothing. There's some that hasn't been touched, but not many. Okay. What's the fix for the corn? Well, remember, this was a split decision. Folks, I don't care what you have to say or what you think. I got a full plate. Fully welcomed. I make my own decisions. You know, I got a full plate. I'm a little limited in doing some of the things I kind of want to do. They need to be planned for. So with the split decision that I made for this garden, what I did for a little bit of a border guard, okay, whatever, is of course I got the snow fence. Now in the construction world we call this snow fence. The green in color snow fence, this is just a little bit of a guard with a bunch of stakes up. Now you're going to see some stakes beyond there. What that is, now understand this is part of the pasture here. This is one of the paddocks. In fact, you can see the cattle coming in right now in a little assembly line. They do that about 4, 5, 6 times a day. Back, forth, back, forth. What these stakes are is obviously, I'm pretty sure you can see, is for the electric fence. To keep the cattle from getting near the snow fence and causing some damage or some trouble. Which worked out real good. Well, worked good for the cattle, but not the other animals. Deer in particular. You know, we're up here in the UP of Michigan. We're loaded with deer. So, all right, number one lesson learned. If I want to go into this, what I'm going to call a commercial avenue. I don't like that word, commercial. If I want to do what I said for next year, which is basically 3 big blocks of gardens, all the corn over there, a whole bunch, whatever, list goes on and on. Well, that's going to be a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a pretty healthy amount of expense. I guess that means I got to put up a big old Trump border wall. I'm not into politics, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not into talking about politics, but that's something we need. Apparently it's something I need here too. A border wall fence, 6, 7 foot. I'm not sure what they come in. I'm going to say 6 feet, 8 feet. They're also known as elk fence around here for the elk farms. We've got some elk farms up here and some game ranches, and I believe they're 8-footers. Unfortunately, something like that's going to have to be put up. My God almighty, is that going to be expensive? I see it as having to be a must, though. I don't see any way around it. My cucumbers, something's going after the cucumbers. What? I don't know. I don't have the education, but those took a heavy hit. So, yeah, a border wall, we're going to call it, has to be put up. Okay. Another big lesson learned is for next year, which I fully plan on, is I need some of those walk-behind planters, which I've got my eye on a certain brand right now. I look at getting a couple of them. They're fairly cheap enough. Why not have 2, whether I get some actual help over here or, you know, one goes to hell. Row spacing is pretty important. I can tell that right now. I've drowned it out some of the stuff, beans in particular, and yeah. Row spacing concerning tomatoes. That was a pretty fair failure on my end. I apparently did not research that well enough, or basically at all. It's not too bad. I got a little bit better right here, kind of, sort of. I failed pretty miserably there. That was the first row I planted. And there's some pretty healthy tomato plants here, but here's the deal. I need some good spacing. It's just too close together, I think. Main reason being is I'm full of weeds in here. It's a garden. It's going to be full of weeds. Well, let me tell you something. And I know a few of you got the answer, and it's okay. I'm cotton picking busy. All right. I'm not saying I'm better than this. I'm not better than anything. I'm not going to get on my hands and knees and pick weeds. Maybe I'm supposed to having a garden. I don't know. Maybe I'll find that out. I'm not going to get on my hands and knees and pick weeds every night till dark in the summertime. I'm not going to do it. I'm too stinking busy with other things. And you know what? You got to have a little room to breathe too. I'm a firm believer in that. So, row spacing, not only for the plant health, but also if I do it strategically, getting corporate on you, I can also not only rototill, which is my definition of weeding. This was freshly done tonight. You see how dry we are. Not only can I rototill this way, but if I do the tomatoes especially correctly, if they're a solid 3 feet apart, I'm figuring, I haven't done a tape measure yet. If they're 3 feet apart, I'm pretty darn sure if I do it correctly, I can also do it crossways. For example, actually that's a pretty wide berth right there. But right here, that's all weeds. That's stealing from the plant health. And by the way, some of these tomatoes took a big hit. I don't know what the hell happened. Especially these right here. I do remember the name brand of these. These will not be bought next year. Fact, period. But if I do the row spacing correct, of course, I can do also a sideways weeding / rototilling. These weeds are kind of taking over a little bit here. I'm doing my best with these lines and rototilling, and that's the way I'm going to keep them up this year. I don't have time for anything else. So yeah, big border wall, a trump wall. Proper row spacing, especially with these tomatoes. And I need a proper planter. You can pick up those little walk behind push planters for, I'm seeing like you can get some of them as cheap as $80. Now, I don't believe in the stuff, everything's got to be expensive to be good. I don't believe in that crap. But there's some little better high and mighty stuff for about, we'll say about $130, $140. And I see picking up a couple of those this winter, ordering them. And if I do, and when I will do, I'll do a small little showcase on them. Other lessons learned. I don't know. I want to start talking about moisture, water. We've been pretty lucky this year. We've had a phenomenal year. We've had our dry periods. We've had our hot days, and we've had our moisture. We've been really lucky. It's been I'd say almost a perfect year thus far. Guaranteed to experience some hot, dry, drought weather coming up in the next year or 2 or 3, maybe even this year yet. Who knows? Maybe second crop won't be worth a damn. So I'm starting to think about a water source. I don't know. I'm going to put my head together about that and really think about that. We'll see what happens. But that's just about it, folks. Just a little jibber jabber video of learning some lessons. I will tell you that I'm pretty proud of some of these tomatoes. I do not have any that are pink in color yet. Of course, I'm looking for red in color, but the first pink one is getting salt and pepper, and we're going to have ourselves a little party. Okay, last but not least, lessons learned. And I guess this is just me, my lack of education with a garden. Name and designate your rows. I shot from the hip a little bit. I did pretty good. You know, tomatoes, cucumbers, beans. But designate your rows and even name them. I'm talking as even going as far as a little placard on a stick. What is this? There's some stuff I don't even know what's out here. In fact, I picked this just a little bit ago. Is this one heck of a healthy serrano, or is this the starting of a bell pepper? I don't know. Some of you are probably laughing right now, and that's fine. I deserve to be laughed at a little bit, but designate your rows, what's what, especially if you're going to have people come in here and pick. It doesn't take much to make up a few signs, you know. I can barely spell, but just enough. I could probably put the vegetable name on there. Yeah, pretty healthy stuff. These guys are thick, thick, thick. This is still just in the flower stages, though. I don't see any started tomatoes on there. Here I do, though. These, I'm just going to tell you what these are. I believe, I'm almost for certain, these were called early girls. Obviously, they're maturing very early in the year, and I'm here to tell you they're beautiful tomatoes. So I'm definitely going to keep this in mind next year. Also, if I'm looking to have a sellable product and actually have customers come here to the farm and pick, you know, it'd be nice to supply customers with some tomatoes early in the year. So, yeah, early girls, that's what they were called. And I don't know. Lessons learned, folks, lessons learned. If you already learned all your lessons, trick is going to be on you. Joke's going to be on you someday. I'm just man enough to admit that I learn lessons, yeah, every day. Every day. And this was one of them. Put the garden in, learn a few lessons, you know. I guess the other thing is here is I need a 3-point tiller. I don't know any better, but I want to say, all right, this is a fire lane, okay? This is so my lazy butt can get in the Ranger and just drive down here and go ahead and pick and throw in the box. I want to say that the weed growth in here is hurting the plant health. Maybe not, I don't know. I try and rototill real close to the rows here, and for the most part do a good job. But this fire lane here, of course this guy, and here's the other wide fire lane right here. The other ones are kind of smaller. I can only fully assume that that's kind of hurting the garden. Not to mention it kind of looks like crap. You know, that's supposed to mean something. So maybe another lesson learned. There needs to be a 3-point back PTO rototiller. I don't know, 5-footer, 4, 5, 6. No, not a 6-footer, 4 or 5-footer, something like that. I've been looking at them here and there, and we'll see. But then you also need a garden tractor. So, you know, none of the tractors we have here, we don't have any big Berthas or anything like that, but we don't have a tractor to get in here and, you know, tend to the garden when the weeds are growing. So, anyway, all that being said, it sounds like I need to get the shovel and keep digging for that pot of gold I've been digging for years here. I haven't found it yet, but yeah. All right, folks, just checking in. Happy to be home. I'm going to be home here for about a full week and a half. We got a lot going on. I looked at the sorghum today, if you're even still watching this video. If you're not, I don't blame you. I looked at the sorghum today, and it has grown since Sunday morning's video. We're going to go take a good, healthy look at that here in a couple days. I went and took a nice little ride this evening and went and looked at the corn. The corn has come leaps and leaps and bounds. Legitimately, the corn was not knee-high at the 4th of July. Well, here we are on July 11th, and it's better than knee-high. So it's not Brad Larson Northern Wisconsin farming corn. Holy crap, Brad. But it's pretty good stuff. It's getting there. It's getting there. So anyway, another beautiful night, beautiful sky in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan here. I can only assume that most of you are on their back porch looking at the same thing. I sure hope so. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing? And stay tuned for some videos coming up, folks. Have a good night. Talk to you sooner or later.